Hi, beautiful people. Hope everybody is doing well wherever you are in this world. In this video, you're going to see Unirock come face to face with Molly and Justin after weeks of reporting of all the wrong they have been doing in regard to helping Miss Letitia, Marvon McCray's biological mom. Molly, Justin, and Goose, the way I perceive it, were nothing but gracious, respectful, kind, understanding, and compassionate because of personal stories that he did tell them. And also with Goose, which I'm going to make a whole separate video about, was giving him certain information that he needed to know. And I'm going to do, as I said, a whole separate video about that to show, because it deserves its own recognition, to show how Goose was respectful. She gave him all the information he needed, and all he could have done was at the end say, can I have that information, and shown his audience. But we're going to get into that. I have also included in this video Unirock's continued live on his channel, and I do mention after the fact, meaning that continued live with his audience and what he was telling his audience about what went down in the interview, because his audience was very disappointed in him. I will give you my thoughts at the end, but before we get into that, my usual disclaimer: please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. And in this whole video, as per usual, this is my opinion. Also, if people want to be in the comments saying, but Molly did this, Molly did that, Justin did this, Justin did that, let's focus on the task at hand right now in regard to this live that Unirock, Molly, Justin, and Goose were part of. Once again, I'm going to do a whole separate video with what Goose had given Unirock, which he chose to ignore.
I think they should be able to see me.
Is he here?
I don't see a face.
Well, you got to give people time.
I don't see a face.
Hold on.
I don't see a face.
Can you hear me? Flavor says the others need to come off panel. It needs to be you two, but I don't know if she's going to do that.
Oh, no, I don't mind talking to Justin, too.
Okay.
You'll have to unmute your mic.
She put it on members only. I wonder why.
Navy says, members only. Wonder why. Here's your answer, Navy.
Yes,
So-
thank you for coming over and just being,
Yeah.
cordial
Oh, yeah.
and not raging and stuff like some people do when they come on panel. It can be kind of scary. Like I was saying to Marissa, like, hurry up, put it on like subscribers only for like an hour or whatever. And I think I accidentally said members. So I
Oh,
apologize
yeah.
to anybody
No,
who might
that's
watch
okay.
this afterwards. I wasn't trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like
My
make
chat's
it
cool,
so that
so.
I was just trying to
yeah.
protect the chat, because how like if
I
all of
get
a
it.
sudden a channel comes in and you don't know
Yeah.
if they're going to be nice or not, and then the mods are having to go
100%.
crazy, and I think it accidentally got switched to members.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Marissa switched it back to subs, but I know
Sure.
there's some people that aren't able to be watching it right now, so I just wanted to apologize for that. I wasn't trying to have it
Oh,
switched
no,
to
no.
members. I just
You
wanted
never-
to
yeah.
on
I
subscribers
get you.
for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Hey, hello. I'm Unirock. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm Molly Golightly.
I'm Justin.
Oh, excellent. Hello, Justin. Hello, Molly. So I'm sure there's been a lot of miscommunication back and forth. I don't hate either of you. I don't have any angst towards you, and I hope you don't have any towards me. But there is some issues to talk about, I'd say, if you want to handle them.
If Unirock is the huge investigator that he claims to be of fraud, specifically fraudulent fundraisers, should he not fully investigate and fully research the issue first, opposed to insinuating and accusing people of doing wrong? Isn't that just the right thing to do?
Now, we all make mistakes or something, or we don't think about things, so who knows? But the major issue, though, is Letitia, I think, because...
The major issue is with Letitia? What?
people tried to get refunds, and, of course, they were blocked, and that was the thing people were most upset about. So, is there any, information on why they didn't get refunds? But, I mean, I think that you'd said that there is a reason, and Letitia didn't want to say it, so I can understand maybe Letitia not wanting to say why, but do you think it's a good reason that she doesn't want to show proof or give refunds?
Absolutely. Because a refund would be because your friend Katie Joy told everybody that they were being scammed, right?
Oh, I don't like Katie. We don't get along.
Are you not being given money by Katie Joy? Is she a wrench?
No.
Doesn't she have a wrench on your channel?
No, she used to. She hasn't had a wrench in a long time. Katie and I have an entire series, a playlist documenting my experience with Katie.
I know it's been up and down with you too.
Well, it's been down for over a year, but see, me and Katie, I don't know, you probably don't know this. So she got exposed for doxing Creepshow Art like a long time ago. She doxed Creepshow Art in my Discord server while she was attempting to be friends with me, right? So I was forced with deciding whether to not tell my audience, because she was like implying that I shouldn't tell my audience when I was getting ready to go live and blast her for it. And so I had to go live and record my Discord server because she lied on me and then said she didn't dox Creepshow Art in my Discord server. And then I had to send the proof to Creepshow because I figured she'd want to sue or something. She didn't, though. And yeah, it was a messed up situation. I don't do that. I wasn't communicating with Katie in the beginning because I liked her or because I wanted to boost her or something. She was bigger than me at the time. I was communicating with her because people said she was a doxer, and she told me that she wasn't. And when I told her I was willing to hear her out, she explained for months that she wasn't a doxer.
So, as you heard, as Molly Golightly is giving her response, and as soon as Molly says Katie Joy, he instantly butts in and says he doesn't like Katie. And as you're going to hear after this, his communication with Molly, Justin, and Goose, he goes back to his audience and says that this is his way of bonding with Molly, Justin, and Goose, is by throwing Katie Joy under the bus. Just paraphrasing, but you will hear.
I wouldn't say I betrayed Katie. I'd say that Katie betrayed me by doxing Creepshow in my server. But yeah, that's what happened with that. So, and I have a lot of stuff on Katie. You guys would probably want to hear if you ever actually talk to me, because I'm not a bad guy like people think I am. But I mean, I don't expect you to. But that's a good subject to start on, because Katie is
Okay.
She actually tried to pull something crazy with me on you, Molly, which I eventually will tell people about, but I was going to do a video on it after all this calmed down. But
honestly speaking, he sounds exactly like KJ. This is what and how this person tried to cause havoc between you and me. If this ever happened to me, that would give me even more cause to actually first and immediately contact Molly and talk things out.
What happened is YouTube, of course, had this story of Marvon and Dre McCray, and they were looking for YouTubers that would take it, and they were trying to find a lot bigger channels, the likes of Bailey Sarian, and they had their hopes up real high, and they were being ignored for quite a long time. So two separate people decided to reach out to me within hours. And I looked at it for a couple of hours. And I knew Justin would be up. And at about 5:30 in the morning, I talked to him for about a half an hour, and I told him what I stumbled upon. So me and him went into this together. And then we found out that this girl without a crystal ball, which I had heard her name, never saw any of her videos, wanted to talk to us about this. About 150 people told us not to go on, and we, of course, didn't listen. And she decided to call Dre basically a murderer. It didn't sit well with me. And there was something about her vibe where she said, send all of your followers to view this on my channel. My source only wants it viewed.
oh yeah,
I don't
heard
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
And so
I saw that you were mad about that, so I know that's I'm glad you didn't.
I think anyone would be.
You know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I told my crowd that something wasn't feeling good, and I didn't like that feeling. So I was up. I was trying to go to bed, And something was keeping me up. So I went over to the kitchen. I said, oh shit, I can't confirm. And guess what? The bitch gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah.
And what do you know?
Brace yourself, people. Once again, Unirock goes ahead and throws Katie Joy under the bus, demeans her, tries to discredit her. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a punk move on Unirock's part because Molly is explaining the situation on hand. Not what happened a few years ago, but what is happening now. What Unirock is trying to do, in my opinion, is to create a familiar bond between the both of them because of the shitty person Katie Joy is.
Okay, let me tell you what happened when I first met her real quick. So, like, I go in and I'm talking to Katie and she joins my server, and it was over this other issue I won't bring up. So she tells me about that. She scolds me. Like, she literally like treated me like I was her child and scolded me, and she started to cry. So we got past that. It took about 20 minutes. And then she told me how she gets her, you got to hear this before we talk about anything else. She told me how she gets her sources. Okay. And I haven't done a video on this yet, and I always meant to. So she told me that she would get a hold of maids for famous people, like straight up, like 100%. She said this in front of other people, so she can't say I'm lying. And I criticized her for it. So she would get a hold of maids and people that cleaned other people's houses or had some contact with a rich person, or, you know, like Lindsay. I'm not saying she did this to Lindsay Chrisley, but it's like an example, right? And then she would use talking to them to build like a web. And this is literally out of her mouth. And then she would connect to the people they talked about as a friend, kind of like, not as the YouTuber, like as a big YouTuber, but like, hey, what's going on with this? And that's how she built connections into bigger YouTubers and bigger people's communities. And I always thought that was really deceptive, and never liked that either, because it's like almost invasion of privacy. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. It sounds a little bit like that whole source thing you just mentioned is why I brought that up. So
he brought up how Katie Joy gets her sources. And I made a comment, how is this relevant? I still do not see this as relevant in this conversation. But the first thing that came to my mind, in an old video of hers I watched, she said that she does not allow the cleaning service in a recording room. So is this the reason why she doesn't allow them in a recording room, of the way she actually gets her sources? She also mentioned that people that come and do repairs in her home, she makes them sign NDA. So just curiosity. But I wonder if people that work for the maid services actually sign NDAs. I'm just curious.
Trickle down effect almost.
yeah. And then like, what if somebody tells you something, like they're in there cleaning, they're going to see parts of their life they probably don't want out there. And then, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I criticize that on her pretty heavily myself. So
I didn't feel okay. I didn't feel okay. And I had the Patreons going, and I had the members and everybody saying this, that, and the other thing about her. And I had no idea. And then
Our phones are blowing
says,
up.
I've never regretted anything more than going on her panel.
That's the only thing I've ever regretted.
Ever. So,
well, you know, I have that really same thing.
This is
Go
what
on.
happened.
Okay.
It comes to, we were talking to Miss Letitia. We talked to Miss Letitia. We talked to Miss Wynette. We talked to Mr. Marvon. We come to find out that Mr. Marvon was having a private discussion with Katie that we knew nothing about. He hung up the phone on Katie. And what Miss Wynette and Marvon told us is that he got a very bad vibe from her and hung up.
Well, she kept calling and calling and calling as well.
Yes,
Katie was calling? You're
Yes.
saying Katie did, right? Okay.
Katie was not taking no for an answer.
With
She
Marvon
lost her
Sr.?
loving mind.
Ooh.
And Wynette said, I bet you she's going to flip the script now. And Wynette was right. And she did that day. So then she started to say that this was a scam. And she requested her money back from GoFundMe, $1,100.
In my opinion, she encouraged others that donated to go back to Miss Letitia and ask them for their money back. She is the instigator.
Then she puts out some little thing saying that, and she was lying. She said that she went to GoFundMe and that they had this big investigation and that the higher ups decided that it was indeed a scam and everybody should get their money
back.
Yeah.
But guess what? If they deem it a scam, they'd
shut it down. Yeah, they would stop it from having more refunds in the very least.
Absolutely.
They put it on pause. Yeah.
So Unirock seems to know quite a bit about GoFundMe, as you can hear. He admitted knowing GoFundMe would put the fundraise on pause. And why isn't it registering to him that the GoFundMe was not taken down, was not put on pause? It's still around. So Unirock, shouldn't that tell you something? If it was a scam, it would be taken down. But Unirock, is continuing the storyline of this being a scam.
I got the blame, and I will take responsibility because I do not like GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Every time that I've given to GoFundMe, I have been burned. 2 funerals that didn't happen, that have went to vacations and the like, and I just always been burned, and I don't like it. I'd rather give it directly to them.
I can understand that.
My first donation was so large that Justin said, "Oh my God, Marissa, let me give you something towards that."
Yes.
I continue to push the Cash App. Now, other people were saying, "Can we get a PayPal because we're in Australia? Can we get a Zelle?" Now, they're getting all confused with all these money apps. I'm sorry for that. Now, there were several times where people would give me $50, and then 2 o'clock in the morning, people saying, "Here, give this to them." And I'd go, "All right, I got $50 to Letitia." Sure, boom, boom. I never kept anything for myself.
I believe you.
Did you guys hear that? And I quote, "I believe you." That is what Unirock said. But as I said, after the fact, after he went right back to his audience, which he knows he disappoints his audience, he has something totally different to say.
I ever received, Uni, was $100. I got $100 from Wynette. She said, "This is for your baby Jake towards the clothes."
I can understand that too. Definitely.
I swear on my life. When I got paid, I got paid over $18,000 on the 22nd, 23rd.
Good.
She showed it.
Another fucking chunk I gave another chunk to Wynette, and she said, "Oh my God, Molly, why?" And I said, "I want to help you."
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. I think it's good to help. That's like what you said about GoFundMe. I can completely understand because like we've investigated several old GoFundMe fundraisers, and a good portion of them will have those kind of issues. So, and you know, once people that are donators out there have issues, they swarm our channel, and then of course we start looking at it. So it's good to hear, you know, that you said 100 towards close. I can completely understand that, and it's just kind of like an appreciation token. Okay,
can I be real honest with you? And
yeah, please.
Look me in the eye. And just,
definitely.
I want to tell you, do you know how hurtful it is to give and give and give and have someone just snap their fingers and say, "You know what? Everything that you've done, every tear that you have ever fucking shed."
Wow. Unirock said he understood why Molly was given the $100 as an appreciation token. Now listen to him blow smoke up and kiss Molly's ass. So Molly gets emotional because Unirock has been putting it out there and in his videos calling her a scammer and she's doing wrong, and he seems or puts on a facade he cares.
No, I know. No, Molly, I know. It's okay. I get it. I can tell you want good things.
It's fucking
I get
disgusting.
We give a lot, Unirock. I mean, we really
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Because you guys are making... I can tell because you state what you give, and I've heard some clips.
Don't you think I feel guilty getting all this money? and I don't know
Yeah.
what to do, and I give it to them. And then if I show what I give, they say, "Oh, you're bragging." You can't fucking win.
You
just
can't.
fucking win.
That's a YouTube thing, though, and you should
I'm
feel
telling
good
you,
about the
when
money
I
you
do
make.
A fucking a legit fundraiser through YouTube, $50 fucking thousand that goes straight to fucking kids to St. Jude. They
I
said
saw that.
I only took $50,000.
And people
Even
will do
though
that
they
to
all
you.
got fucking receipts.
And I think
I
part of
know.
that.
Summer Wells' birthday, I spent hundreds of dollars, 200 on all this stuff for the birthday. Woke up early, set it up, and then at the end donated $600. Raised, said, "Oh, how much money? $7,000."
Yeah.
I donated so much. I got it.
$500 at the very end. I was in fucking tears. And then what? Well, I'm called a fucking scam artist again. Do you know how
Well,
that fucking feels?
I do. I get it
It's
because
bittersweet because you feel
YouTube's
good
one of those kind of
for helping
places.
these kids, but no, it sucks because either way, you're damned if you
damned if
do,
you
and you're
do,
damned if
damn.
you fucking don't.
But wait, as again I said, wait and listen to after the fact.
You are, and listen. The thing is, though, like, you can only pull from yourself. You know, if you're giving and you're really trying, and there's other issues that are up in the front that stop, you know, other people from seeing what's going on, it'll work out in the end. I think most people are just concerned just because, you know, some of the theatrics, which I've been a YouTuber for a very long time. I get it. I'm not, you know, judging anyone for any of it. Trust me.
What is the basic issue that you have with us?
I mean,
you know,
I try to be really vocal. I don't have an issue with you guys personally at all, or in general. It's more of just the donators. I get the threat, the way it seems threatening that they wanted some kind of fact check, because like you said, you know, nobody knows here on the internet where money's going and what's going to happen.
Right.
And that's why it's really hard for donators who, just like you, Molly, like, have that feeling in them that they're giving and that they're not getting the appreciation for it. It'll happen in pockets. You know, you feel it, and then maybe 1,000 people feel it here, and it creates this kind of miscommunication thing. So I'm glad you let me talk to you, because it'll, I think, clear some things up. But I guess the major issue is just that people wanted to know that Letitia got the lawyer.
So according to him, as he calls them, the donators want a fact checked, and they don't know where the money is going. They know where the money is going. Only because Katie Joy started the shit and putting out a false story that Miss Letitia is a scammer, she's not using it for the right reasons. This is the only reason why these people are asking about that, in my opinion. Unirock, you jumped on the bandwagon. You yourself is just as fucked up.
Didn't you see proof of that, though, when the lawyer was doxxed?
Katie
Again,
doxed the lawyer.
Yeah.
I know she
It's
doxed
really
the
hot.
lawyer, and I
And
know
it's
what
all
lawyer.
talk.
I saw that, but the thing is, though, it's not, you know, if saying that she has a lawyer doesn't mean that she's using the lawyer, that she paid the lawyer all the money or any of that stuff. Now, don't think I'm judging. I'm not. Like, I don't expect Letitia to give all the money to the lawyer. I would have, if I were her, I would have kept, you know, I would have kept a pocket to make sure I can see Marvon again and that I can feed myself and get a hotel.
Did anyone else catch that? How Unirock just overlooked and gave Katie Joy a pass for doxing Miss Letitia's lawyer? Now, you heard just what he said about the money and how it is okay for her to take care of other things. Now, here is him after the fact. This is absolutely sad.
I think that there's just miscommunication, because while, like, a lot of the donators, maybe there'll be a few that might want a refund or something in the end, which they don't have to have, by the way.
Calling us
Bombarded.
scam artists.
Well, I when you dox people, I don't like. I know that you probably don't think you did or something, and you were probably mad about this and that. So when these things happen, people will throw it around stuff like that. I don't think I directly called
We
you a
won't
scam
get
artist, Molly.
doxxed.
But
We all
well,
get
I know. That's why I said that. I get what you're saying. I'm not here to judge you. I promise. I'm just here. I'm just a YouTuber, and I'm going to tell a story. And in the end, I'm just going to put a video out. And so you talking to me does help me get a perspective on where you're at and what you think. And I'm just here to hear it if you're willing to say it to me. So
Now, could Unirock not have done this from the get-go? And I'm talking about contacted Molly and Justin and get their story before going ape shit and insinuated this is a scam. I mean, it's just common sense to do.
you know what I mean? I would hope we could work
Well, I
together to some
appreciate
extent.
you
We don't
coming.
have to. Oh, every time. I'll come anytime someone invites me. So, it's just a rule I have. So
Unirock, make it your rule to do your due diligence. Just a suggestion.
I think what'll happen, and I could try to be a little like forgiving to Letitia, okay, and say maybe she doesn't understand the refund process, because the refund process is you press, like when you get a dono on Cash App, PayPal, or wherever, it comes through as that dono, and a refund would be opening that donation, and it has a refund option there. Now Letitia may not know that, and she may think refunding is a complex, overly like hardcore process where she has to go in and get a name and find out how much they gave and then give them money back. And you just don't do that because there's fees involved. There's transaction things involved that will be like Cash App is or let's do PayPal as an example. Like they keep a percentage, right? So if you have to refund, what they'll do is they'll refund through that dono so that those processing charges are also refunded, right? They refund too. PayPal does. I don't know if Cash App does. That's an example. So I could see maybe that Letitia, if she doesn't know that that's like a function of things, could have given out refunds, like she said, to people, and maybe, certain people didn't get some, other people's did. I just would want Letitia to show evidence, and then of the lawyer. And now I don't want to force her to, because she could have a good reason, and I completely
Can I tell you what
understand
she
that.
did?
Try to be a little forgiving. Are you fucking kidding me, Unirock? People were not wanting refunds once again until your employer, Katie Joy, in my opinion, rallied up people and to ask for refunds, leading them to believe this is a fraudulent fundraiser. Miss Letitia doesn't owe you shit or anybody else anything. Let's be clear about that. And the reason why I say I called Katie Joy Unirock's employer, because Katie Joy's husband is not shy to say how easily Unirock could be bought. Has he been bought in the past? In my opinion, I believe so. Katie Joy gives him super chats through the yin yang. Just an observation.
And
It was huge. I just saw, I made a mistake. I usually look at Social Blade when I first go into a story, and I didn't until like a few days ago. And I noticed that it was way bigger than I thought too. And that probably intimidated all, like Letitia and everything. There's probably a lot of donations at that point.
Excuse me? You only started doing proper research a few days ago? What?
Definitely. I just want to, yeah, and I just want to say, I mean, I think that's great that I noticed that she had, when I looked at her channel and then Social Blade, that she did those fundraisers. I think that's a great thing. I'm not going to take that away or anything. Like, not a lot of YouTubers never do that. So, I do notice Molly makes an increased attempt, probably like she said, because what people put on her and say about her, that it's a good thing. That money goes a long way to little organizations, and it helps them turn into bigger organizations. So it's a really good gesture. So my goal, I guess, talking to you guys would be like saying, whatever Letitia could be comfortable to do to kind of ease people so that they won't want as many refunds. And I can't make them, but I think that a little bit of proof and a little bit of understanding might help the people that want refunds, change their mind even. So I don't know what we can do. We could maybe talk about it. I know Letitia, because I know there's the clip of Molly saying that there's certain things she can't or won't say. And I know other people might not understand that. I do, because Marvon is in a coma.
Once again, Unirock, Miss Letitia owes you shit. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Zero. Nix. You should have, and from the get-go, done the right thing and did your due diligence, researched, investigated, did whatever you needed to do to come up with facts to back up you saying this is a fraudulent fundraiser. That was the right thing to do. You went off on all what these haters and KJ lovers were saying. Hell, you should have asked KJ for more information, like how she knew Miss Letitia worked with an attorney. They came up with an agreement for her to see her son Marvon. Why didn't she give you that information? But as soon as you jumped on the bandwagon of calling this whole situation a scam, KJ went and promoted you to the heavens, telling people how she was giving you information. Come on, grow some.
And I was in a coma myself. I was medevaced out of Iraq, and I had to have a hip and an arm surgery. I get paid every month. I'm almost fully disabled through the military, and I sympathize with what Marvon's going through. So there's a lot of angles. This story is very complicated, is all I'm really trying to say.
Now, first of all, Unirock, thank you so much for your service. This story you are creating, you making it complicated.
So yeah, I just hope that maybe like we can take a breath, everybody can chill, and maybe we can talk tomorrow or something.
I think that you would probably be a little more softer given the circumstances of this story.
I have I've tried, my content's there, and you probably only see clips when we're first experiencing. Oh, okay. Well, people, anyone would only see a clip of maybe like when we're first seeing a clip or first trying to figure out what's going on. But if you did watch one of my videos, I constantly am trying to say, I do give opinions on things as they sit, like I did in the beginning with Justin there. But for the most part, I've said constantly that I like your personality, and we just want to get to the truth. And I mean, it'd be really hard to go through my streams and find me insulting or putting you guys down, in my opinion. So it's probably there, just like it is with you guys and saying it about Katie and stuff, responding to something that I might have thought you said about me. But other than that, I don't think you'll find it. The only thing I'd want to do is if there's any possible way I can help maybe get things sorted out so that Letitia's more comfortable, I'd want to offer that. And if she doesn't want that, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to put myself into this situation with the family or anything. I just want to be able to say to donators that are like, I didn't get proof and it made me want a refund. Here's what happened. Now you can add that to make up your mind, and maybe it can help you go the way you guys and Letitia wants it to go. I mean, that'd be, I think, a good thing, right?
How about you tell your audience that KJ was the one that got butt hurt because the people involved in the story did not want to deal with her anymore. Tell your audience that she was being or found out by certain people how she was exploiting, in my opinion, the story. She was starting to be exposed for what she truly is. That's why all this came up, in my opinion, because she couldn't accept the rejection.
But like a mother, I mean, she had Vaughn when she was 15. She was a kid herself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, she didn't make all the best decisions, but if I was a parent at 15,
I don't judge for that.
I couldn't imagine being a parent at 15. You know what I mean? So
I said the same thing on my channel. Yeah, I don't judge Letitia for mistakes like would have been made in that scenario. And
I know, but
I can understand the pain she's in slightly.
Just so
if you talk to her, like, don't tell her I said this or anything, because I don't know what.
Well, to be honest,
I don't want it to get factored.
I think she's in the chat right now.
Oh, okay, good.
I want you to remember this, you guys. Molly said, I think she is in the chat right now. Not she is in the chat right now. Because you're going to hear after the fact how he twists things to suit himself and to gain favor with his audience.
I would hope that maybe there's a way that people would request less refunds if, as long as, because like Letitia's saying, I did what I was supposed to do.
Done already. The damage
Well,
has already been done.
Okay, I get that. And I
So
know
if-
what you're saying with Katie.
$5,000.
You know, it's weird because these kind of stories, every time I come in and look at them, I don't know how Katie's always involved. It's just she's always involved. I
She
just
started it. She started this.
You started this.
And what's
I'll
funny
definitely
is
go look at that. I'll look back at
she
that. Go ahead,
got
sorry.
mad.
Once again, Unirock. Now, you should have looked at it properly, the facts from the get-go. Stop throwing Katie Joy under the bus because all the info she was sending you, you had no problem accepting it and reporting it. Why didn't you fact check all this from the get-go, Unirock?
That's
Trust
not
me,
that bad.
I know, because
The selling out of Katie Joy, compliments of Unirock.
like she was in my Discord server for like 6 months, but she only came in and talked maybe. There was like 5 or 6 things that happened where she wanted me to like look at the story or cover a story, so she'd bring it to me. I had the same issues with her everyone else has. It's why we have this rocky relationship. When this first happened, she wanted me to unblock her in my chat. And so I was like, you know, and I have a rule where if you get blocked in my chat and you come and ask me, I'll unblock you. And I wasn't going to do it for Katie, but I was like, okay, things will be cool this time. She made it 3 days. And I was shocked she made it 3, but she made it 3 days. And then she didn't come back because she got mad that I gave an opinion that I felt was very fair. I still feel it's a fair opinion. I forget what it was, but and it was, she took it as slightly negative. I swear I didn't even mean it as negative towards her, but that's what she does. Like, so I can sympathize. I've been trying to figure out a way to get Katie to not have these, because I look at these issues and I'm more of like a moderator. Like in my head, I'm like, what can we do so that YouTube can not have these things happen in the future? And there's just no way to do that with Katie because we're years into it and it still happens. But you know, it just, what do you do? What do you do, I guess? But I hoped maybe we can talk again sometime because I think we just misunderstand each other a little. And whatever happens, I think it'll help us understand each other. And so if you will, now it's up to you. So here's my thoughts, okay? All right. So I went in with the thought process of being reamed by Molly and have her jump down my throat because that's what I'm used to seeing from Molly. And I noticed that there was this little power play happening in the beginning. You can rewatch it if you want. If somebody ends up clipping that, send it to me because I'm going to need it for video. Anyway, there was a power struggle going on, and it was a YouTuber, it was an unknown YouTuber power struggle, right? They don't really know who I am. They probably haven't seen me because I've spent a lot of time in the last few years debunking fraud raisers and even doing some commentary. So I don't think I would float by them, and they don't know me, and they're probably wondering, is this dude a bigger YouTuber than I think he is? Is he going to embarrass us? Is he going to try to yell at us, right? Even like they said, with their chat, worried about a flood coming in. I always dissuade people from chat brigading and stuff like that because YouTube asks us to. So the power play started. So I was, you know, trying to go in. I wanted to say something so that I could communicate to them the exact same situation I've been communicating to you guys this whole time, that I'm not against anyone. I'm still not against anybody. And that I want to make it to where on YouTube, when there are fundraisers, you're comfortable as donators, full transparency, because it's your money. It should be going to where it should go. And even Molly agreed. If you recall part of the conversation, she talked about how she got on GoFundMe a few times, right? So it's just, they should see the perspective that we have to have creators that come in, look at these situations, and if we can't get, for the first couple years, it was hard, to get police intervention, not to arrest. We don't want anyone arrested. We don't want anyone's GoFundMe taken down. I don't think Melissa needs to worry about that because as YouTubers, I'm comfortable knowing that my content doesn't break the rules and my Patreon isn't going to get taken down. And my channel isn't because I don't do anything wrong, right? So there is the admission early on that after we got done kind of like trying to communicate to each other and feel each other out, we all settled down and talked. So that was accomplished quickly. I said, I told him when I first went in there, you know, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to get eye to eye, right? And then I said, they're trying to manipulate me because they were at first. Can we all not admit that? right? Okay. Navy said, I see that. I'm not going to read everything Navy said, unless you don't care, but anyway. So he said, I see that. She's being super nice to you. She isn't angry at what you're saying, which I noticed too. I said, I'm going to let them do it. When they first were kind of like, I think they didn't trust me at first, and they felt like they had to make some excuses, and they felt that they had to maybe make excuses for some of the more blatant things that were noticed or commentated on. So I said to them, I said to Navy, I'm just going to let them go with that, so that, because my goal, of course, in there, I have a goal. So my first goal is the fundraiser, figuring out what's going on, getting you guys information I promised you, getting a resolution for you. The second goal, of course, is to be able to do that and make sure I'm able to do that in the future. So like if Molly, when she was crying and yelling at me, I was trying to be comforting to her. I wasn't being disingenuous. I was trying to be polite and comforting. I was trying to hear her and let her vent and get her down to hear me, because I know when someone gets upset, what that does. I know how to mediate. That's my job here. This is my expertise on YouTube, is handling very kind of cringy, hard situations that are linked to a topic where I've got to go in, and if I just sit there and not really say anything, I'm not going to get any info. There's a balance where you have to, go in, and I have to ask myself, do I want to feed my ego and take a couple shots at them for picking on me? Do I want to go in and try to be cool and look cool to everybody watching me, right? No, that's selfish. I want to go in and I want to get to a point where if any selfish notion needs to be attended, that doesn't happen here, because I would be disrespecting you and my statement that my final video will represent the truth. I have to maintain that the entire time, because they got really nervous at a point when we were talking about something that had to do with the fundraiser. I felt that they were being nervous, so I told Navy that. You have to understand that what I just did is what I just did in there, I think builds a bridge to get to the truth, more than maybe like trying to put on a performance. That's the end of that's my end point there. I'm trying to get through this really fast. I'll probably upload a video breaking down the conversation. That's what I usually do. I made sure I literally said it the whole time for the last 2 weeks. You can go look at any of my videos. I told you that I'm going to talk to Molly at some point. I had that feeling. I didn't say it was going to happen. I have a feeling I'm going to talk to Molly at some point, just because of how things were going and reading her reactions. And I said that some people aren't going to like me after I talk to Molly, because I'm going to be nice and hear her out. Now, that's been said at least every 2 or 3 days for the last 2 weeks. You can find it in my recordings. They're all there. And I told you, if you go listen to what I said about what'll happen when I talk to Molly, I was honest with you the entire time, because I don't have an intention to feed drama now. I mean, sure, in the future, because I've gone back and forth with Katie. I've had back and forth with her up here before, and I was making it entertaining because there was no topic behind it, right? So my main focus, of course, was the topic at hand.
Issue Mom says you wanted to bond with Molly by Katie bashing.
Yes, that was a tactic. It wasn't bashing. I was being honest about Katie. Everything I said about Katie was absolutely honest. I wasn't trying to be mean to Katie. These are things Katie needs to hear that I was saying to Molly. These are things I need to say to Katie, but I never get an opportunity, because every time Katie comes around, it always leads to her getting mad because I criticize her. Most people, when I criticize them, they'll come and talk to me about it. Lauren says this has nothing to do with Katie Joy. It does. Because that was the only way for me to kind of get them comfortable with me, is to tell them about my experience with Katie, make sure I'm honest, and tell them about my experience. So I did. And I do think it broke the ice so that I could actually talk to them about the fundraiser. We need to talk about the fundraiser, though. We're going to do that at the end. This did nothing. Still no proof of anything, says Kathy. Oh, I completely disagree. The one thing I think that people may not be focused in on is we just got a bunch of very relevant information about what's going on. Okay? I'll break it down in a minute. But if, Kathy, if you think that we didn't get anything out of that discussion, allow me to respond to that. I just want to respect the other super chats before we do, okay? I will. Just give me a second. Casey says, I'm not sure if I should be disappointed. I don't think you should. Give me a minute. Okay. And then Casey says, you broke my heart. Well, I hope I didn't, because now here's what's important. So did you guys hear a few of those pieces? Because Rachel already came in. Rachel caught them. She came in and said to me, I'll give you an example. Did you notice how they said that Michelle, and I didn't even notice this during the call, or I would have said it, but after the call, I went to pee. Remember? I was about to burst. And Rachel came in and said, hey, did you notice that they were saying that Michelle didn't ask for a refund? But they've already said that they turned off refund requests. So that Rachel was trying to say that they checked to see if you'd get a refund request notification after you've turned off refund requests. And from the information we have, you wouldn't. Did I say that properly, Navy? Did you understand what I was saying? Oh, okay. So there was a few other things, like Letitia was watching. So I kind of feel that is a plus and a minus, because we've been talking about how Letitia hasn't really come on to give any more updates or to tell people what's going on, right? So finding out that Letitia was watching and that she was communicating with the people there, I don't want Letitia to take this the wrong way, of course, because I again don't want Letitia thinking that I'm coming for her or something like that. I'm not. I'm trying to get the truth out. But I do find it strange, and I have to be honest, that it's like we have her there still. Like, I could understand if maybe she's so busy doing something. Lawyer told her not to comment, blah, blah, blah. All those things could explain Letitia not coming up and giving further information. And I do think that maybe and it could be that she got a shit ton of refund requests. People got really mad at her and she doesn't feel comfortable coming back up, right? There's a million things it could be. But I still think that it does play to the people wanting their refund who aren't getting it, that Letitia's in the chat and giving information to someone on stream, while at the same time, you feel me? Okay, no shade. I'm just being honest. Okay. Molly got upset and she started to cry. And you learn things about Molly puts up a tough front, okay? What I learned by talking to her in that short time is that she has a lot of feelings involved. Let me give you an example. That chat does not like me. And they were saying some mean stuff. Like, they were talking shit about my looks. Guess what? I agree with you. I know I'm not no winner. I'm not, the best looking dude on the block. Molly, on the other hand, showed me tonight that she gets upset when people say things to her on the internet sometimes. Hold on. Somebody asked me something. Can I ask you an honest question? Rock a lot. Do you honestly feel what you're doing is right? Well, let me show you like the way to determine this, okay? If you want to know what first, before you can make that determination, you've got to know what I'm doing. Am I being honest with you about what I'm doing here? The way you do that is and I know you're not going to sit through all my streams, and I know I haven't uploaded a shorter video yet to explain myself or what's going on. But you could click through those streams and actually witness what I do for yourself. Because if it's okay for someone to commentate on true crime, if it's okay for them to commentate on anything out there on the internet, it has to be okay for us to comment on fundraising and whether that fundraising is done properly or not. Okay? If you tell me that what I'm doing is wrong, I will consider it, because logically, I will think about it. I'm not going to just take your statement and wipe it off the table. But I'm not doing anything different than what Molly is doing, outside of the fact that I'm taking it more seriously due to the fact that Marvon is a Marine in a coma. Though, while Marvon is in the coma and while we're talking about this, I'm going to try my ass off to be chill. Oh, I come upon a clip of Molly doxing people. The reason I think Molly wasn't like completely flipping out on me, and being nasty, because I have reacted to her doxing people and talked about how fucked up it is and how, it does make the entire thing look like a scam. That's why I said I didn't think I called her directly a scammer, because all I said was the tactics Molly is using to respond to people asking for refunds and the tactics that are being used to attack certain people that are refund requesters and get mad at refund requesters make it look like pressure is being put on people asking for refunds due to the fact that certain people other than Letitia have a link into the money being raised that is beyond them just being a person helping Letitia raise a little bit of funds for a lawyer. If I'm doing a fundraiser to get Letitia a lawyer, so what I mean is, I'm going to say, what do you need for the lawyer? It's probably going to be $50K. Wow, that's a lot. If Letitia raises 70, I'm going to expect her to give it back. She can either give it back in the beginning, or she can put it in account for the lawyer and see if the lawyer uses the 70. And if the lawyer only uses 40, she can either donate it to a charity or whatever, right? But I'm not expecting you to profit off of or make money off of this situation without telling people that that's what you're doing, because that affects the people giving money. If someone thinks their money's going straight to a lawyer, they're more inclined to give a lot more money. It's like, wow, you're going to do something with this, and you're not going to keep it for yourself. You're not going to keep it for yourself and all this. I'm going to give 1,000 instead of 100. Oh, you might keep 90% of this is going in your pocket, and you might get the lawyer and you might not. I might just give you 50. You see what I'm trying to say here? But there were things that happened in that call that I think will answer some of the questions we have, and I think also will lead us to some conclusions. Do I think those conclusions will cause you guys who donated to not want your refund? Like I said, the only thing that can do that is proof. The only thing that can do that is knowing what happened, the truth. Again, something that the others said that they wanted: justice, proof, truth, right? So we are all on the same page. I do get it. I want you to understand, I talk to them. It doesn't mean that I am opening my heart. I mean, I will, as much as a person can to another person, in a professional, I'm on the internet and you're on the internet kind of way, to be nice, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to forget or let it intrude upon what we're doing and trying to get to the point where you either have truth. Look, I don't get to determine whether you want a refund. So Letitia, in my opinion, can come in and get more money to do what she's trying to do, with the fact of giving you proof, which should be the intent. It's like, do you want more money to be able to do what you wanted to do? Yes. Okay, let's give them some proof. Will it hurt anything? Let's find out, what's wrong, and let's fix this or something, right? Joanne says, they said everybody got refunds. Danielle, no. Kelly, no. Trisha, no. They're not being honest. That's the end of the truth and facts. See, Joanne, I do agree with you. Do I think that Molly is scamming? I've said the whole time, I don't know what's going on. I can't draw conclusions. I can draw inferences from behavior. I can draw the truth from facts. I can draw the truth from proof, right? Did I get any proof when I went over there? I did not. Therefore, we are not really any further than we were. We just now have an open kind of bridge. We have an open communication, and I think we can actually get somewhere here. But I'm going to tell you now, I'll give you a promise. I usually don't do this. No one's going to manipulate me. No one's going to get anything over on me. I got your back. I got their back. I got everyone's back that's involved.
I know, you guys, this has been such a long video, but I'm not even going to lie to you. This has been such a painful video for me to record, to edit. To all those that do subscribe to Unirock and watch Unirock, kudos to you. I don't know how you guys do it. This has been the most painful and excruciating video I've ever recorded to date. But anyway, it's done. My thoughts about this. In the beginning, when Unirock came and approached Molly and Justin, I'll give him that. He did come across to me as humble. And as time went by, he played a part, which he admitted. He had tactics. He needed to do certain things to get them to where he needed them to be. But at the end of the day, as you guys heard, after the fact, he took away something totally different than what I took away from. If Unirock knew, and as he stated, he is a veteran, he's had experiences with his son, that should have given him the compassion to at least know where Miss Letitia was at. He, out of the gate, insisted that this is a scam. Molly, Justin were doing things wrong. They were basically being scammers. They weren't being upfront. Now, for a person that claims to be such a smart person and also knows so much about GoFundMe, he knows jack shit. Because any decent human being would do the right thing, research this to its full extent, and then come out with the video. Not doing things the way he's doing things now. Just my opinion. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Like I've said before, I'm going to make a separate video in response to all the details that Goose gave him concerning the refunds and all that bullshit. He should have gone to Goose after the fact and said, could I have those receipts? Went behind the scenes, got all his ducks in a row, and given his audience what he came up with. Whether it be a scam or whether it not be a scam. But for right now, he needs to stop going after Miss Letitia. Stop changing your stories around and search for the truth. Put yourself in the position of Marvon as a vet. Show the respect to Marvon and his family. Now when it comes to Miss Letitia and this CASHAPP, all these donation sites, CASHAPP, PayPal, Zelle, GoFundMe. Look at it from Miss Letitia's perspective, okay? As Unirock said, she got all these people helping her. Miss Letitia was not the type of person to be on social media, to be involved in YouTube and all that kind of stuff. She was being given all this help by all different kinds of people, and unfortunately she didn't know who she could trust, and along the way she got burned. That's my perspective of things. Is Miss Letitia a scammer? Absolutely not, but that's just me. But then, when you get Unirock coming out, insinuating, making all these allegations, and which you'll see in my next video, when you will see receipts, how Miss Letitia took money out of her own pocket to refund people who didn't even need to be refunded, that took advantage of her. And this is just me. When I make donations, if you saying you need, or you having this GoFundMe to raise money for an attorney, once I give that money, it's not my business what you do with that money. Unlike Unirock, when he's face to face with Molly and Justin, he's like, oh no, that's okay. Whatever she uses the money for, because life happens, whether she uses it for hotel, travel, day-to-day needs, that's all good. But after the fact, when he goes back to his audience and he says, oh, once she's finished with the attorney, once the attorney is fully paid, she should take whatever's left behind and donate it to a charity. It's like, how can you speak out of both sides of your fucking mouth? Pick a side, dude. You know? So like I said, that's just me. When I donate, once I've donated, I know what my intentions were, was to help out, and that's as far as it goes. You guys, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend. Please be kind to one another. And don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.